Hey, Coach, how you doing?
I'm good. How you guys?
Good, doing good.
Okay.
Yeah, what's it been like on that corner spot opposite OD? Seems like that's kind of the main battle in your group going on right now. How would you break that down?
It's been a great spring thus far. I've been impressed with the competition. It's been a while since we've had this type of competition at a particular spot, meaning competition in depth at the same time. So I'm excited about Judge Collier and his progress. I'm excited about Vakari Swain, Emery Floyd. Those guys are growing up in front of our eyes and showing a different level of maturity. Now, are we there? Far from there, but we got talented guys, and then adding the addition of David Spalding, who played nickel and safety for us the last couple of years. We moved him to corner also, so now we got a veteran presence, a guy who's going to push those other guys and make them better, and it makes us better as a corner group. So OD's been solid and consistent. I know what we got with OD. We got a whole body of work to see from OD, but it's really exciting to know that one of those guys are going to step up, and a couple of those guys are going to step up, and we'll be pretty good.
Torrian, with the experience and the talent that you have in that safety room, I know you guys try to get creative and use Jalen in that nickel spot last year, and we've seen it over the last couple of years since you've got here. You have guys that come in, sometimes they don't even have a background of playing nickel, and they're able to pick it up. How has his growth been just early on, and what do you see with him in terms of just what you guys would expect for him to do from a defensive standpoint? Because I'm sure it wouldn't be just limited to nickel.
Yeah, definitely. Playing to Jalen's strength, DQ, and Nick's strengths. Those guys are more safety body, physical body types. So trying to get Jalen Kilgore into the nickel spot, we have to be creative, and that's part of the things we did last year and going to some of the Joker package, and it allowed him to play to his strengths. Now that he's got a year of experience underneath his belt, he'll be able to transition and be able to do the things we need from a man matchup standpoint and from a mental standpoint of the nickel spot. So he's able to grow into it. And the great thing with Jalen, man, is it's night and day from this time last year, and even in fall, a lot through fall, he's still learning. He's still trying to pick up things and still trying to understand things. Now I'm starting to tell him once, I get it. I can take it from the media room right out to the field. It's not a 4 or 5 week or 3-4 month transition for him to really understand something. So this is when it starts getting fun. You got talented guys who are now experienced and had a lot of reps, and that he's going to be so much better because he has a better understanding.
With Nick, what's your, point of emphasis for him as he's going into this third season?
Well, you try to keep it in perspective. We had a pretty good freshman year, but there was some inconsistencies in there. There were some inconsistencies for a good part of last season. So the last, I thought, 5 games were pretty consistent for Nick. So how can we just be here the whole season, not have the ups and downs? So that's the goal from that standpoint, and, just keep hammering the button of being consistent, just being here day in and day out, be that kind of flat line type thing. It's the message to Nick. It's the message to the group, in a sense. And, don't be up and down. Let's just, boom, be right here all the time.
Hey, Torrian. Where have, in the last year, Vakari and Judge grown the most in your eyes?
Well, the corner spot, any spot back on the defensive back end, there's an urgency and there's a strain. We call it accountability and details, kind of on our mantras, all those acronyms, USDA. And when you get talented guys out of high school, sometimes they don't understand the urgency of the position and why you have to strain and why you have to be detailed for the position. So just seeing them mature and okay, I'm going to try to finish this technique and finish this play with a certain strain, a certain effort, and that's been a lot more consistent. So, part of it's just growing up, and part of it's just keep hearing it and keep seeing it. So that's been what I'm encouraged about, is their growth from a maturity standpoint and understanding those things we talk about.
Is DQ kind of along those same lines as Nick as far as consistency, or is there a little more to it with him?
Absolutely. The way last season went for a lot of us. You know, again, DQ, Nick, freshman All-American status, but you're a freshman, so there's still some of this inconsistencies in between the games, but there's high points that you can see the talent, you can see them execute and do certain things. Last year, again, didn't love we were up and down too much, okay? And then when we started playing at the end of the year, there was a lot more flatline. It was just consistent. So let's take that at the end of last season and transition this, and we're in the year 3 with DQ. Let's get a full year of taking away the ups and downs and just being a little flatline.
And one more for you with your two freshmen, Busey and Kelvin. What have you seen from those 2 through 5?
Normal progressions of a freshman for the most part. You know, they come in, you're trying to learn these coverages. You're just trying to get in a stance. You're trying to learn where do I put my eyes and my keys. And those things like that, man, how to finish a play, how to tackle. So I've been impressed that there is growth. There is growth. A lot of times there's not a amount of growth you can see through 5 practices, but I can see growth through 5 practices with those guys, so that's encouraging.
Hey, Torrian. You know, obviously you've been coaching secondary for a long time. Clayton White also was a position coach in the secondary, a lot of his stops. How much time do you guys spend talking to each other about secondary technique and that type of thing?
Oh, often. You know, hey, Coach White, this is what I'm doing with our press coverage. Okay, this is how we're taking our steps. Okay, well, this is some things. Had you thought about doing this? So, you know, there's a lot of feedback from that standpoint between us two about secondary play. You know, he's coached safety in a lot of his stops before he was a coordinator or whatnot. Hey, this is how the safety should stand in this defense. This is where he should put his eyes and those things like that. So those conversations are always ongoing.
Torrian, we might not have an opportunity to talk to you again before the NFL draft. I mean, what is the team going to get if they bring in Marcellus Style?
They're going to get a professional. You know, Marcellus is always on time. Marcellus always plays from someone who's trying to coach him. He's going to be very coachable. He's going to be on time. He's going to be a pro. That's the term that I use for Marcellus. And after he came from the combine and I seen him and I talked to him, there was a certain level of confidence, maybe because he performed really well at the combine with his 40 time and vertical jumping and things he did, but now there's a certain confidence about him, a swagger that, you know, he was always kind of just mellow and laid back a little bit, but now I think he really believes in himself. So I think they'll get a guy who's got a swagger about him now. So I think that's going to be really cool.
2 things for you. First, do you have a timetable at all that you care about trying to name a starter at corner, or does it not matter to you?
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
You know, those guys are going to continue to compete and make each other better, and we're going to be better for it as a team. So there's no timetable where this thing can go into fall camp for multiple weeks, and whoever is going to be consistently that you can trust, we're going to figure that out.
Emery was talking yesterday about kind of putting track on the back burner a little bit because he wanted to make sure that, you know, he could make his mark, that he could give all he could to football to make sure he's playing. What have you seen from him these last couple months as he, you know, tries to really make sure he's dedicating himself to football?
I've seen an Emery that I haven't seen before. I've seen an Emery I didn't know if we would ever get here, as far as someone who is trying to do the things you're trying to tell him. And part of him, he could have ran track, you know, but that was one of the first things I was like, oh, okay, you know. And he went through the 8 weeks of training in the weight room as opposed to trying to split it with track and stuff. So I thought that was a start. And then those strength coaches were very impressed with how he did all those 8 weeks in the weight room. So I'm like, okay, all right, then I can sense it in our meetings when I'm meeting with him. And, you know, there's a lot more focus and detail with him. So now are we always there? No. But from where he come from, I'm very proud of him.
Coach, is there something you want to achieve with your group before the spring game? Do you have a spring goal for this group?
Never thought of it. Honestly, I guess maybe as a coach I should have thought of that. But really, if I just stick with, we want to be here, this is all I just stay with them. Just be here. If we can just be consistent and be flatline and not be that up and down. So that's really what I want to achieve finishing spring ball. And so far through 5 practices, there was a play today I was not pleased with, but that's out of 112 plays. One play that really sticks out of my head. So, we are through these 5 practices at this point have been kind of a flat line. So, that's kind of the message to continue to do that. And if we can finish 15 practices or with the spring game being, 15 of those with that, I'll be proud of this group.
I got to follow up on that one play. What was the play? What can you share about that?
We got a ball thrown over our head, which is never good, but it's something that we can control. It was a play that if we just go through our key progressions, it's an easy play. It's an easy play. So that's the part about not losing focus and those things like that. All right. Thank you, guys.